It is, what I'd like you to see is just nothing more than something like a watch band, and I can pass it around to you. We can put it on your ankle, on your foot. I have one gentleman who refuses to have the system, but between his daughter and I, we got it on his cane, on his walking cane. He doesn't know it. We changed the battery. I have some children who can't deal with the system, but I have it on one girl. I have it on her tennis shoe. I have one lady, elderly lady, who will just offended at the fact that the system is there and she doesn't need it, but it's in her pocketbook and her daughter changes the battery every 2 months. She doesn't go anywhere without her pocketbook. So let me pass it around to you so you look at it, but that's all it is. It's just a simple device. You can put it on an ankle. I have one gentleman who's a swimmer, swims every day. We have the device on his ankle. We in the search and rescue, my brother is really our incident commander. When we connect somebody to our system, we start doing pre-search plans. So every person that has one of these devices, my brother has already been to we got a picture of them. We've already been to where their house or where they go to church or where they play. They go to the Java Center today, wherever they're today. And we've already done a survey of that area for hazards, creeks, rivers, railroad tracks, those things, so that we're ready for when, it's not if they come lost, but when they come lost. We're ready to go, and our teams come in from 3 or 4 different directions with this device, and we triangulate, and we pick the signal up. And once we've picked the signal up, we can talk to each other on the phone and say, hey, look, I'm standing in the corner of Locust Avenue, and that signal is coming towards Park Street. And Bobby could be on the other side coming in from McIntyre, and he said, well, that signal is coming to me more downtown. And that's what we do. We triangulate. It's a very old system, way to work. But we lay it on the map, and we pretty much configure where the signal's coming from and get within 50, 100 yards real quick. And that's how the system works for us with a 20-minute time frame. And so if we don't find you in 20 minutes, we start expanding. We start moving out in a circle and keep going circle going out. The SOP for the Sheriff's Office is if we have not found you in 1 hour, the entire search team will get called out. And that means there's 50 reserve deputies, 75 to 100 trained civilians that we have that are part of our system, dog teams, special trackers.
A lot of the stuff you see on TV.
Yeah. But this system, what it's designed for is for the caregiver. That's really what it is to give the caregiver a peace of mind. We've been at it about 10 years. Every person that has a system that has gone missing, we have found. So what we do is the last point seen, wherever they call us in and say where the person was at, that's where we all focus to. And we have 3 or 4 of these special devices, these tracking devices. And can you guys all hear that ticking? That's what this thing is putting off. That's a signal. And each person on the device has a different frequency. So we know that Bobby Shiplett's 215-617. So we dial in 215-617 and we start tracking that signal. The signal generally is about a half a mile to a mile that we can reach, depending upon the terrain. Almost every sheriff's office in the state and in the country has this system. So the great thing about it is I have clients all the time and say, look, I'm getting ready to go to Miami for the week. And I say, well, okay, call the Miami Sheriff's Office. Tell them you're a Project Lifesaver client from Charlottesville, give them the frequency number, so if your mom or dad goes missing, then they know what number to dial in and start looking for them. So it's a nationwide program.
And it's happened a lot.
It happens a lot. I get calls all the time. I didn't know how much I know about wintergreen. I've been for so many times. People come in and so we get those calls constantly. I'm in town for the weekend and I say, where are you staying? What's your frequency number? And I may not hear from again. Then I have those that come in town every couple of months and they let us know. And I've never met them on the phone, but I know their frequency number and I know what to look for. The system is so simple and it's not that expensive to operate. Every 2 months we go put batteries in them. This also allows a deputy. We have pretty much 4 or 5 deputies right now that is there, and it's all volunteers. No money to the taxpayer. But they have 5, 6, or 7 clients that they're assigned to. They're also very observant of what's going on because occasionally we find a client's been abused. Sometimes we find that the client is abusing the caregiver. So we need to deal with that and pass it on to the right agencies and how we handle it. We also are at the point where we can say, really it's not time, it's time for you to look at the next step, because he is disappearing so much that maybe you need to look at a more professional unit somewhere for a caregiver that's with him all the time. And they don't always listen, but our people make sure we always pass it on. We also look around the house to try to make the structure reasonably safe for them, because particularly some of these kids with autism are slick, and they can get out the door in a minute. So we try to help them design the house with locks, or we build devices on doors, or whatever we can do to make it so that at least you're here or aware of somebody that they've gone outside on you. As we know, with children with autism, they tend to go to where railroad tracks, highways, water. They can't leave water alone. The airports, the worst place we could have children. But we also know that the elderly people with dementia tend to go a straight line. And we often find them, and they have gone as much as 7 miles before we found somebody. And usually they walk a straight line, and they'll walk through briars, honeysuckle, barbed wire fence. It doesn't matter, they just go. What we do know is that many are teaching with people with dementia, they don't physically know that they're in bad shape. It's gone past them. So I can't walk. I'm worried about now how I'm going to get back to the car. But how they can go that distance and physically do it, and usually what happens, they go that distance until they just collapse. And then that's where we find them, and that's not the way. And then they're dehydrated or exposed to the elements, and that's not the way to pass. And so hopefully we find them beforehand. The hardest task I have is if I hook your mother up to the system, and I beg you that if she's gone 30 seconds and you don't know where she is, you call us. Yeah, you may find her in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, she might have gone downstairs, but you also know that in 10 minutes, how far they can walk.
Yes, great.
And so we get this all the time. Somebody calls, Jane just left. She was just here. I saw her 5 minutes ago. She's gone. I've been looking for her for 20 minutes. Oh my God, she's 20 minutes further out there for us. So we ask you that the minute she shows up, a person shows up missing, you call. And I'd rather have that 20 times that a team has to turn around and come back than that one time when they've gotten 20, 30 minutes out of a couple of miles or have exposed themselves to the elements. So that's one thing I beg you, please call us the minute they disappear. And I don't care if we have to go 20 times a day to look for somebody. I'd rather go, we get there earlier the better.